Welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. Right off the bat, just in case you didn't read the description, we're going to get into some pretty dark territory in our first episode, Mortal Coil, where there is a straight up attempted suicide. So if that's something you don't want to listen to, which is totally fair, I would suggest going to the description, finding the timestamp for our second episode, Waking Moments, and going there. With that said, this is Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames,
Caitlin,
and Jake.
First up in Mortal Coil, Neelix is having a very busy day, but he's very happy about it because he likes keeping busy. You know, it's crowded in the mess hall, Harry needs coffee, he's preparing for Prixin, which is a Talaxian holiday where you celebrate family, and then it comes up that they're approaching a nebula, I believe?
Yeah, some kind of nebula.
Chock full of the David Marcus special, proto-matter.
Damn it, David Marcus!
And even though everyone knows proto-matter's a bad idea, they decide, let's go look at it. So,
well, it's a good fuel. They need fuel.
No, I know, but goddamn, proto-matter never ends well.
After all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I go and look at the proto-matter?
So, yeah, Tom and Chakotay and Neelix grab the canister that is totally not the canister Neelix used for warp plasma that time.
That one exploded.
Yeah,
like, whoa.
Exactly.
He has a lot of these canisters around.
He would. He was a trader.
Yeah, no, I know. It's funny. It even lights up the same ungodly shade of green. And they go to the nebula. Something goes horribly wrong. Lightning pierces the ship without actually piercing the ship.
It can do that.
And
it's a nebula.
murders the fuck out of Neelix.
Oh, no.
And everyone has a sad.
Except Caitlin.
And 7 of 9 is like, oh, how long has he been dead? And they're like, fucking 18 hours? He's like, that's nothing. And they're all like, I'm sorry, what?
He's only mostly dead.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I feel better!
And she uses some Borg magic to bring him back to life. And I am like, oh, great. They've introduced a magical bring someone back to life thing that'll never come up again.
Never again.
But then the rest of the episode explains why it's maybe a good idea to never use this again.
Why is that?
It gives Neelix the worst existential crisis. See, earlier in the episode, which I meant to mention, it turns out he is Naomi Wildman's godfather, and one of the only people that can get the little brat to go to sleep when she's being difficult. And one of the things he does is tells her about the Great Forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Great Forest, which is basically the Talaxian afterlife. It's a beautiful forest, all your friends and family and loved ones are there, and so forth and so on. And as we know, Neelix has lost literally everyone.
Including Kess now.
Yes, but she's alive.
Ish?
As far as we know, yeah.
She's her own type of being.
Yeah,
exactly.
But either way, he would not be expecting to find her there now anyway.
Got it.
But, he wakes up from 18 hours dead to find that there was nothing. And this causes him to spiral because, it turns out, that this belief that he would one day sort of see all of his loved ones again was kind of what got him through the day, which is fair because, as we all know, he's had it rough. And this just sends him down a very dark path. He eventually goes, I know Chakotay maybe can help me. And he goes on a vision quest. And then all he just sees is a vision of his sister being like, everything you believe is a lie. And then the crew basically, you know what you have to do. And then he goes to space himself. And luckily Chakotay and Samantha Wildman talk him down. And, he's like, I'm going to plug along. And that was... fuck me, possibly one of the, in a psychological sense, one of the bleakest, darkest episodes of Trek that I can think of.
Especially for it to be Neelix, because he's the morale officer. He's the one that always has a smile. He's the one that, when 7 of 9 was yeah, when we fuck.
Oh.
Kazon?
No, when we met your people.
Yeah,
Fine musculature, make good drones. And he was like,
yeah,
okay.
he just laughed it off. No, but what is it they do? Resistance.
Assimilate?
Assimilate. Yeah, thanks. When she told him about assimilating his race, he just kind of smiled and was like, well, good to know we were helpful. Anyway, how do you like your eggs?
Although Jake does bring up what was a comedy highlight of this otherwise quite serious episode. The Borg wouldn't even assimilate the Kazon.
That was good.
The
There's
Kazon
like,
are just too fucking shitty.
Yeah, it's like, we won't even use you as, like, the guy that fucking cleans up the toilet. Like, you would make us worse. We will just kill you. Which, that was a comedy highlight in, again, what is otherwise a...
Oh, it's a real bummer, this episode.
And I realized this is not his first time on the show, but the first time I noticed this was Bryan Fuller, who is a fairly well-known television writer. He's created Pushing Daisies.
Oh, yeah.
And Hannibal.
Pushing Daisy canceled way too early.
It was
so good.
Pushing it. Oh, loved that show.
Here's the thing, though. Not to go on a side note to make this a Pushing Daisies podcast, but I felt like the second season was so much not as good as the first.
I would agree.
So
like,
long,
I feel like it was a
I
huge dip in quality, and partly because Molly Shannon was there and I can't stand her, but I just felt like the first season was perfect, and I don't necessarily feel like, given how quickly it went downhill in the second season, that it would have been a good idea to keep it going.
That's kind of a Bryan Fuller thing, though, because I feel like Dead Like Me was sort of the same.
That was him too, yeah.
I kind of feel like Hannibal was that way too, to be honest. I feel like the first couple seasons were like basically perfect television, and then he was like, no, but like, not that I don't object at all to Will and Hannibal like maybe kind of being in love with each other, but it just felt like they just tried to smash that in there, and I didn't necessarily feel like it was earned or made any sense. I don't know, anyway.
Yeah, but back to Bryan Fuller. So he was the writer of this episode?
He wrote this episode. He had already, I looked it up, he'd already done a bit of work on DS9 and Voyager. I know eventually he's like a regular in the writer's room on Voyager.
Oh, okay.
No shit.
And he was... I don't know how much of his original ideas remained, but he was originally gonna be the, like, lead on Discovery.
Yeah, he was the first showrunner.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I do remember this coming up.
Yeah, so
ages and several writers.
Yeah, and I was actually really excited for that.
Yeah,
right.
I was sure we were gonna get Lee Pace as a Vulcan, which I would
He'd be a
give
great
good money
Vulcan.
for.
But yeah.
Or Romulan.
And, like, I remember when they announced that he had left the show for... I think at first they're like, oh, because his schedule's too busy to work on this show, because he was working on some other show. But,
yeah.
But honestly, it just sounded like there were
Is
probably
he
behind-the-scenes bullshit.
Is he on Foundation?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I'm thinking that's another Lee Pace special, and Lee Pace is great in that.
Yeah, but the writing on Foundation isn't good enough for Bryan Fuller.
Yeah, I think they eventually...
I will say, though, the Lee Pace arc, like that whole story arc, is the best part of that show. Everything else is...
I like it. I like Foundation.
I think, like... They eventually resorted to the usual vague creative differences bullshit.
But what was the bullshit behind the scenes that we think might have been?
Well, nothing
just
has
I'm
been.
Nosy.
They like. There's nothing but rumor and hearsay, and unfortunately, a
Because...
lot of it comes from like completely untrustworthy anti-New Trek people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure something happened, but what it is couldn't fucking begin to tell you.
My theory would be that the producers behind Discovery are known hacks, and Bryan Fuller is not, and there was a conflict between the hacks and the non-hack, and there were more hacks than non-hacks.
Possible.
The non-hacks had to leave.
But yeah, this was a Bryan Fuller, and really very good episode.
Nice, yeah.
A much better Faith versus...
Oh, then Sacred Fucking Ground?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not hard, though.
That's true, but...
Which one was Sacred Ground?
The terrible...
The one where Janeway had to...
Talk to George's mom.
Yeah. She had to paint and hold a rock and get bitten by something in a box.
Yeah. I think... I can't think of his real name at the moment, but Neelix.
Ethan Phillips.
Thank you. Doing a really, really great job during the transporter room scene. With his...
that scene, the end scene.
Yeah, with his breakdown. And...
Yeah, and it's so funny because, he's known to be one of the more comedic actors. And when you give him something like this, or like Phage, which we talked about a while ago, like, he's got the chops, and it's really stunning to watch.
Yeah.
The mutton chops.
I was saying to Kate, like, man, we like to joke that Harry Kim is the sort of the Chief O'Brien of this, but I think it actually might be Neelix.
Wow.
Because, like... It like his story, his like, oh God stories are few and further between, but just the amount of emotional trauma seems to be on a similar level.
Well, also the physical trauma, because like they even make reference to it in this episode that he's got the one lung.
Yep.
Now he's an undead corpse man.
Yep.
And the fact that like, okay, he was dead, they fixed him up, they gave him the Borg magic probes, and then his body continued to die for a while because they fucked it up. So he just started decomposing.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrifying.
Yeah, no, he's had it rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, again, like, a good use of his sort of background. And even, I gotta say, despite bringing in some of the questionable, likely phony Native American stuff, again, very good use of Chakotay.
I was thinking the same thing. And I even was able to entirely, like, not even think, like, vision quests are things.
Yeah.
Are they ever portrayed realistically on
Probably
media?
not.
Probably not. But you can also say this is the future. He's got his own magical totem. And to be entirely honest, I don't think there's any difference between what he was doing with Neelix and just, say, guided meditation.
Yeah.
Like some kind of meditation. This ship doesn't have a counselor,
Nope.
which would be really nice to have for something like this. Jesus Christ. And
Although,
I think
again,
that was a good use of the Chakotay character.
Seeing how they did write counselors on both TNG and DS9, thank God this ship doesn't have a counselor.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're replacing, like, actual medical care
with like shamanistic,
with like some and not to say
volunteer
that it's
work.
not helpful to like like spiritual stuff is not helpful for people, but at the same time I feel like this is an instance where do the shamanism stuff, do the the spiritual drug induced vision quest thing,
and then program like someone to talk to in the
but
holiday.
then
or
also
something.
also have
traditional therapy.
Some traditional therapy, some like science-based medicine here.
I think in this case it makes sense for him to at least start with guided meditation because he is having a spiritual crisis at first. I mean, it's also an existential crisis, but it's directly linked to the fact that his faith has been dealt an extraordinary blow.
Yeah,
but in some ways I feel like that makes it a worse way to go. Because one, since the vision quest is going to actually work, like he does do a vision quest thing.
Yeah, because he's got the device.
Now he's being kind of hit with, well, my faith was fake and this seems sort of real. I kind of feel like that could have almost led to more pain.
You're right. I guess I should rephrase that. I can see why he went that route.
Well, I can also see like when he sees in his vision in the meditation, everyone telling him, nope, there's no afterlife. Nope, nothing fucking matters anymore. You know what you must do. He never told that to Chakotay, who was someone who could help him through trauma.
Yeah.
Regardless of, just how much training Chakotay has in this. At least he's a fucking human being in the room. Or just a person, not even necessarily a human being. There's lots of other beings. A being in the room who can listen to him and help him instead of Neelix saying, well, I'm not going to tell anybody this. I'm going to freak out on my own. I'm gonna go start writing my suicide note.
God, yeah. Although, I guess in a way, it's not sensible, but it makes sense for his character in that when you think about it, like, so much of what he dealt with was completely on his own. Because, like, we don't really... The sense I get, at least, was, like, when he initially lost his family and everything, he didn't have anyone he could really turn to. He had that, like, scumbag criminal buddy who I'm sure he was not having deep emotional conversations with. I don't remember if they got into how much he discussed his past with Cass, but it sounds like not loads.
Well, it sounds like only recently did he discuss with Cass that he, like, ran from the war.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a new thing that came up.
So yeah, he's kind of used to keeping trauma to himself, it sounds like. So again, was it the healthy thing to do? No. Does it make sense that he did it because of the way they've written him? Definitely. And it's unfortunately a thing a lot of people do. They will keep their trauma to themselves.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I'd also say that, once it gets to the point of the committing suicide...
Yeah, Jesus.
Chakotay is in no way qualified to deal with a suicidal person. Now, like, he might have been...
Who is?
Okay to be there and, talk him off the proverbial ledge, which was great, but Neelix needs help.
Oh, he does.
He does, like, this is not everything's hunky-dory now, I'm still a fucking walking corpse, but I guess I'll go help the little girl get the man.
Yeah, but again, as we've said with literally every series, like...
Oh, yeah, but...
There's never any follow-up.
There's never any follow-up, but there's also the suggestion at the end of this episode that somebody who is literally a button press away from offing themselves can be cured and 100% normal. I feel like they did a disservice. The episode was great, but I feel like at the end of the episode, they did not stick the landing by implying or suggesting that, like, everything's okay now.
Yeah. I think they did a good job comparing this episode, or like contrasting this episode with the fact that it's also like Family Day in Neelix's culture, which is, you know, that's good writing. You got lots of symbolism in there, and you learn at the end, you know, you don't need your dead family. You have a live family right here. And I agree that is not at all enough. Like, there should have been like we're going to keep working with you maybe a little bit, Neelix.
Yeah. And I think they tried to, like, sort of imply that, you know, there's still work to be done. Again, we're never going to see it, of course. But, you know, when he's there and Naomi's like, oh, tell me about the Force. He's like, yeah, sure. And he's telling her. So he's
well, Naomi's his counselor.
Yeah. But, you know, he's working on it. But unfortunately, you know, by next week, he'll be fine.
Right.
But again, that's a flaw that every series up to this point, even DS9, which was serialized, has had. They're just, everything's fine now.
No, they keep Kira pregnant for a while.
Well, that's because reality made them.
Well, I know.
Yes.
They don't make B'Elanna pregnant.
No, that's next episode, though.
I know.
Where the jacket shows up.
But, yeah, I don't know. The whole Neelix, you know what it reminded me a little bit of, or maybe, not remind me of, but made me think of a little bit, is you always hear about, like, these really gregarious, outgoing, seemingly happy people, and you see it a lot with, like, celebrities that
Robin
are
Williams.
Especially comedians.
Williams. Robin Williams is the poster child for, like, the entertainer who, like, everybody loves and everybody just assumes is like, oh man, he's such an upbeat person, but, like, inside there's just, like, fucking darkness.
Yeah, well, that's like, I mean, comics in general, they generally, comedic actors, comedians, like, so many of them, it's because they've been putting up a front for so long to kind of...
And it makes me wonder if, like, maybe Neelix is in that same boat, you know, because, again, you know, he's the happy-go-lucky morale officer.
Yeah.
Who's always on, like, he's always on duty in the sense that, you know, he's rarely in a position to save the ship, but everybody is relying on him for things.
Yeah.
And he has to be there to do those things. And yet he's got all of this now, especially with this death thing and the afterlife and the spiritual crisis. You know, he's got all this darkness inside now.
Yeah, I think that's exactly, you know, whether that's what they had meant to do, that's certainly what they've kind of wound up with is working with that, again, very real thing of, like, people who have been used to covering sort of...
Well, like the scene where he kind of lets loose on Seven, you know, when he, like, that's like his facade falling away and he lets some of that out. And then once he's resolved to killing himself, he goes back to her and apologizes for it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's put the mask back on.
Well, and that's something you do hear a lot in real life is people, when someone does commit suicide, people be like, they were so happy recently. And it's like, well, that's because they've made up their mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like kind of the psychological aspect of it is like they've made this final decision and that has lifted a weight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you hear about, like, making amends and, like, giving things away, and there's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was, like, not expecting this to get... Like, you know, I saw the episode description. Oh, Neelix dies and brought back to life. And I was like, oh, God, what's going to happen here? Some kind of... Like, I was kind of expecting something closer to Sacred Ground, like a really bad...
exploration of faith. And...
Yeah, and then it turned out to be a deeply, deeply, like... good but upsetting.
Yeah, it's very real. Like, there isn't, honestly, I think the sci-fi that's kind of couched, that this episode couches itself in is, like, the nanoprobes.
Yeah, the bringing him back to life thing.
Back. If someone is brought back to life and then they realize, what was my life? Why did you bring me back? Do I deserve it? Was there anything I would have gone to? Spiritual crisis.
Yeah.
Like, all of that after the brought back to life just feels very, very real.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad, too, that they kind of got into it, like, in a, like, I didn't ask you to do this. I didn't consent to being brought back to life. What the fuck? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like, and I'm not trying to be glibby or whatever, like, in reality, it's like, I bet he put himself down as DNR after this. I feel like maybe a lot of crew members might have.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, I feel like it's like, okay, I can see why they will never use this again. Because,
And
like,
also the
Because
fact
they
that
broke the most jovial person on the ship.
And also the nano bots or the nano whatever they
Probes
were
or whatever, yeah.
things, the nanos weren't like they needed to like change them constantly and get injections daily and
yeah, and eventually, like, Seven would run out, I'm sure. Maybe.
Well, I'm
Probably
assuming
not.
she just is a machine that manufactures those things.
Yeah, it's a little vague about what's left in her and what isn't.
Getting back to Chakotay, well, I do think like it was a good use of his character.
Yep.
For a hot second, I was like, would Tuvok be better at this? And then the end
No.
scene happens. It's like, nope, Chakotay's the man for this.
Yep.
Tuvok would not have any connection with Neelix and would just let him go. Jesus
or,
Christ.
Or his solution would be just stun him and lock him in his room until he feels better.
Basically. But the thing that I think Chakotay did very poorly, Chakotay, what the fuck, was let Neelix watch the simulation of himself dying.
Yeah,
again.
that was not well thought through.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, not well thought through, or maybe like Chakotay didn't realize how. I don't think at that point he knew that Neelix was having this crisis.
No.
True.
Like he just thought, like, oh, we need to figure out what actually happened so we can prevent it happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Neelix volunteered.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be busy. And he's like, yeah, all right, sure, why not? Yeah. Still,
And didn't think ahead, like, wait a minute, the end of the simulation is you dying. So,
and the holodecks are crazy realistic. So I feel like, only very tangential, I feel like there was one point, and I meant to go back and double check, because they were clearly, like, in some of the scene, they were just kind of blue screened into the original scene.
yeah.
But there was one point where it was kind of a shot, where it was kind of a close-up on Beltran, and Paris was in the foreground. And I'm pretty sure it was actually Duncan McNeil reenacting the scene, and Chakotay had to freeze it, so I'm pretty sure it was actually just him sitting there dead still.
Oh, I wonder.
As opposed to just freezing the thing he was blue. I don't think he was blue screened into that, but I think they said, all right, now pause. Another little unrelated thing that I liked was during the party, they're all in their civilian clothes, and, you know, Harry, we've seen that outfit before.
Oh,
I
I
think
hate
we've
that
seen
outfit.
Chakotay's. Janeway, as far as I can tell, his shirt was new. And I don't know if it was on purpose, but what I really liked was that there was braiding around the collar and the sleeves that was very reminiscent of, like, the decorations from the TOS uniforms.
Oh, I didn't notice.
And I was kind of like, I wonder if that's on purpose or just a delightful
It's
coincidence.
probably on purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like costumers, you've said this before, I feel like costumers don't, like, just happen to do stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
they make
That's true.
very-
They're typically very specific
Yeah.
and intentional.
Yeah.
When they make choices like that.
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys about the original idea, and I don't know where Bryan Fuller starts and where Bryan Fuller begins, so I'm going to just attribute all of it to everybody.
Sure.
The original idea was for a death fetishist
Oh.
with the power of regeneration to repeatedly trick the Doctor into killing him.
No.
And somehow, they got this episode out of that. But the original idea was that Samantha Wildman would be the one that dies and gets resurrected again and just becomes, like, infatuated with death and how now she's disconnected from this world and how, you know, the only thing keeping her linked to this world is her baby or, you know, Naomi, who's, like, 18 now. And she decides, I'm going to have to kill Naomi so that she can also have experienced this and we can have something in common. And that
Oh my
just gets
God.
also really dark.
That is an amazing idea that is way too fucked up for this show.
Yeah.
Like, I like that idea.
That's like I don't even want to say Twilight Zone. I don't even know. That's a
Black
Mirror.
Mirror.
Yeah.
That's a Black Mirror. That's like, again, as an idea goes, really interesting. Too fucked up for this, for any Trek, even
Yeah.
new Trek, which does all kinds of weird shit. That is, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think
Prime time Trek.
the producers basically said, no killing children. Stop it.
Considering that a lot of his work does involve death, I could see maybe a lot of even the original idea might have been Fuller.
So
Jesus.
is this episode Star Trek taking a stance on the afterlife?
I mean,
Because
I think they
the
can
overwhelming
write it
implication
away.
here is, nope, you're just dead.
I think they kind of hedge their bets a little bit. They're like, you know, maybe you're just not allowed to bring those memories back. They kind of mention that at one point. So, like,
It's still, everything's unknowable about death. Even how advanced we are today, we don't know.
yeah, like, I think
Janeway might know from Coda. God damn it.
the impression I'm under from the way the episode is mostly written, I feel like that's definitely the stance of the script, maybe even the director or whatever, but it does still hedge its bets in the text, I think. So they left it open enough for, like, if you really want to be like, you know,
heaven.
yeah, like, yeah, you die, but if you are miraculously brought back, like, for faith to work.
It's just Neelix's beliefs that aren't real. Mine are still real.
Or again, just his are like, we're set, you know, for faith to work, you can't just have objective proof, in theory. So, like, he needs to not remember that he was there.
Neelix, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?
You could also argue that really what it is, yeah, they brought back his body and his brain, but his soul's already off in...
Oh, that's even darker.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
To be clear, I stole that from the Green Arrow, of all things. When they had killed off Oliver Queen for a while, because the 90s was all about people killing off a lot of their major characters. And then when they brought him back, they, like... It turns out they had just resurrected his body, and they had to, like, fuse his soul back into it.
Yikes.
Where did they find it?
The afterlife.
Wow.
Neat.
I think they had to get the
Some
Spectre
Eurydice
involved.
kind of shit here.
Kinda. But yeah, so that's not even really my idea. I'm just vaguely recalling a comic I read 20 years ago.
Yeah, so something I picked up on is I think, or maybe, I don't know for sure, but I have a suspicion that the Voyager uses a 4-shift rotation. They went Jellicoe.
Oh my god.
And here's my evidence.
No one tell Picard.
Well, wait, didn't Kira eventually also instate a 4-shift?
Well, they
on Deep
also
Space Nine?
have a 28-hour day on Deep Space Nine. 28?
26.
26-hour day. So they have to have something different.
So here's my evidence. So when Chakotay went to the mess hall to ask Neelix why he didn't show up for his therapy session, Neelix was like, "Oh, I'm just so busy." Or whatever. He's like, "Okay, well, I'm off work
At 2.
At 1400."
I remember thinking that was kind of a weird time to get
And I
off.
was like, interesting. Following episode, we learn that the day for the bridge crew anyway starts at 0800.
Yep.
Because Tom and Janeway and Harry were all late for work. So, 8 to 2, 6 hours. That's a 4-shift rotation, my friends.
Oh my
They
god.
went Jellicoe. They went Jellicoe up in here.
I think
Get it done.
I think that makes sense because their probably 5-year mission or whatever they had in the beginning has been turned into a we're never getting home mission. So it's probably a good idea to not burn your crew out immediately with like super long days, making sure that everyone's work-life balance is good.
Well,
Also a much smaller crew, so maybe you just kind of have to, you know?
I also don't think that the 4-shift rotation necessarily precludes 2 shifts.
True.
Like,
You might occasionally...
Oh, do a double?
Yeah, I think Jellicoe's idea was that it wasn't like, oh, you'd only work one of those 4 shifts. You'd be working 2 out of 4 shifts.
Or maybe every Xth day you do a double.
Yeah.
And other times you do a... It's a good question.
I liked that Seven brought up the maturation chamber for
Yeah.
children who
I
were
forgot about
assimilated.
That's some good small talk, Seven.
She's really good at it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Awkward
good.
Seven is awkward.
I take it those chambers don't have anything about conversation. Or whatever the hell.
Which coming
Unix
out of
says.
his mouth is kind of funny, because first season Doctor would have had nothing to say.
Exactly, yeah.
He would have been like, oh, fascinating. Tell me more about this technology.
People say, I have a bad bedside manner.
Yeah, but that was actually, it's very interesting looking at it from the Borg's point of view when they said Borg are effectively immortal because our memories live on in other Borgs.
Yeah.
So, nice little bit of convo with her.
I like how they snuck into that scene an explanation for why Naomi is a fucking child instead of a baby.
Oh, they Alexandered her?
Yeah.
Except they admitted it.
They're like, oh, she just grows so fast.
Like with Alexander, we kind of assume. With them, they made it text.
For some reason, the pregnancy was very, very long, but once she's out, she just grows like a vine.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
No.
I mean, fuck it. She's an alien.
And then
sure.
once she reaches, early...
7-ish.
Yeah, 7-ish. She
slows
just
down
slows to a
again.
crawl.
And then explodes.
She, I know she's not our final Naomi. I know we get a different one, and then
She's
she'll
growing
be...
so fast.
Yeah.
There might be another one.
No, I double-checked.
Well, there's one more child, and then there's a future...
So there's 2 more.
There's 2 more, but one of them's only in a one-off episode of, the future version of Naomi.
There's a permanent child Naomi coming up at some point.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I don't think that's her.
No.
was like, maybe she gets a little older and her face changes. So I just looked it up. I was like, nope, different kid entirely. I don't know, actually, I looked it up because you thought you recognized her, but this is one of only 3 things that kid was ever in, so.
Oh, I still might have recognized her. What were the other 3?
There was the other 2. I don't remember random TV shows that I don't think you would have seen.
Was she in Beethoven?
No.
Okay, she looks like the little girl that was in Beethoven. I think
see.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Pronounced Beethoven?
Sorry, yeah, Beethoven, I forgot. Thank you.
Do we have anything else on that?
The dream sequence was better than any of the prophet visions we saw after Emissary, I thought.
I thought it looked exactly like a prophet vision.
Well, most of the prophet visions after Emissary, I thought, were just
too straightforward.
No fucking effort.
Mm.
This one, there was definitely effort. There was the tree, which was a nice tree. Alexia fucking, like, crumbled into dust, and I was like, wow!
Yeah, she chose poorly.
Actually, I gotta say, I thought all the exterior shots of Voyager by the Nebula looked really good.
They were very pretty.
Yeah.
That was a great
Special
nebula.
effects were good this episode.
Yeah.
I was upset by how ugly Talaxian women are.
I mean, they just look like
Talaxians.
Talaxians.
Yeah, but somehow even, I don't know, there was something...
You know, credit to them, though. It goes against that exhausting trope that is often pointed out where, like, you'll have, like, and we'll see this in Enterprise with how they decide to depict the Orions. One of the best things Discovery and New Trek have done is said that Orion males are also just green dudes. Whereas Enterprise decides Orion men are all huge, hulking green dudes, while the women are still lithe, sexy little women. And that's like, you know, there's a meme that goes around a lot depicting, like, you know, male ogre, and it's like big monster thing. Female ogre is a woman but green. You know, male, this other fantasy creature, huge monster thing that's like blue, and like female version, just a woman but blue. You know, it's like, look, they didn't try to, like, I mean, Talaxians are already very humanoid, but they kept the design and didn't try to, like, it's like, let's...
I mean, but they, you know, but Star Trek doesn't really do that. Like, what other
well,
instances
again,
in Star Trek has that happened?
Oh, I can't, and I'm just saying, it's I appreciate that they didn't. And generally speaking, again, aside from the Enterprise Orions, thanks, Rick.
Like, Star Trek rules are men, alien face, woman, alien face with exposed cleavage.
Right.
That's the rule in Star Trek.
You know what I actually have been, like, thoroughly enjoying? I know we talk about Prodigy a lot and how we're fans of Prodigy, but I love that Rock is just a fucking monster.
Yep, big Rock.
And we
thing.
learn she's a girl, and we're like, yeah, girls are monsters too.
No, not just a girl, but she's like a kid.
She's adorbs. I love her.
Oh, she's the best.
She's like my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, no, there needs to be like a plush figure of her.
There
Buy the
probably
fuck out of it.
is. There's definitely a bunch of Murphs.
I like Murph.
That makes sense.
He's cute.
Good work.
Yeah.
Go team.
So I guess we will now scoot along.
Scoot.
Run along home.
What a segue to waking moments. How does it begin? Oh yeah, everyone's having a dream. So yeah, everyone's dreaming. Paris is having a shuttle accident. Kim is having a wet dream.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like shuttle accident is some sort of like euphemism for wet dream.
Yeah, really.
Oh
but
yeah,
no, it's
last night I had a real shuttle accident.
Yeah, no, but
you know what I
his is
mean?
quite a literal shuttle accident dream. Yeah, I don't remember.
Tuvok.
Tuvok, right, goes to the bridge and is not even in his underwear. He's dead nude.
Janeway dreams of all the dead people she's had killed.
Yeah, it's a bunch of extras, though. No one we care about.
I was hoping, I was trying to recognize anybody. I was like, I don't recognize anybody.
It really should have been like...
Suitor!
Yeah, or I was just going to say the command crew. Like, even any of them. Even if just Kim among a bunch of faces we don't know. But we'll get to that. So yeah, they're all having dreams, and all the dreams end poorly when you see this weird crescent moon man. They all wake up, and they're all like, we all saw the same dude in our dream. This can't be a coincidence.
And also, what's wrong with Kim? New things!
Oh, yep.
A new thing is wrong with Harry Kim today.
Yeah, Harry Kim and a couple of extras can't wake up at all. So they're like, all right, you know what? We're going to send Chakotay on a meditation trip, a lot of that this week, to see if maybe he can get in touch with whoever this is. Like, presumably this is some kind of psychic race, and they communicate through dreams, whatever. So Chakotay shows up, and the guy's there, and, you know, he's like, look, let's just fucking talk this through. I'm going to have to do an arm lock because you're being a dick, but now let's just chill. And the guy's like, you waking people try to destroy us. And he's like, well, just tell us where to go. We'll fuck off. And he goes like, fine, go here. He's like, great, there we go. And you're like, oh, this is going to be...
Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, right, because he has to inception himself, but instead of a top, it's the moon and all that. Wah. And, you know, and he goes back, and you're like, well, there's going to be a twist, because otherwise this was a 20-minute episode. And the twist is they get to where they were told to go, and then the ship is invaded.
Whoops.
By the Crescent Face people. And then it turns out, wait a minute, this is just another layer of dream.
We have to go deeper.
Yeah, basically Chakotay realizes what's going on, gets himself into the real world. In the dream, the crew slowly starts to realize, oh wait, this is still a dream. They find the planet where the bodies of all the sleepy people are, and the Doctor and Chakotay, work out a thing. When Chakotay goes down with a vial of just super cocaine or something to keep himself awake. But instead he gives it to one of the aliens and is like, turn off this damn machine, and then he falls asleep.
Oh, that was a bad fall asleep, too.
And
Robert Beltran, stop it.
well, I think he was like on his feet, so it's like he's got to be able to fall asleep and catch himself on the just off-screen blue mat. And then the alien leader is like, your bodies are dying. And Chakotay's like, yeah, your body's about to get blown up by my EMH. And he's like, fuck. So the crew's woken up and they go on their merry way, and that wasn't the best summary, but there you go.
Yeah, it's a lot of boxes within boxes and moves within
But I
moves.
gotta say, like, it's been a long time since I'd seen this episode, and I certainly have seen that movie where Inception. I kept wanting to say Interstellar, but that's a different movie. Inception, since the last time I saw this, and having seen Inception, and now seeing this again, I'm like, Inception really fucking lifted every idea out of this episode.
There's also, and I learned this from an article somewhere, there's also an issue of the Disney Duck comics that it might have actually stolen a lot of it from. Like, right down to, like, invading someone's dream to do, like, a heist and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like...
But everything from, like, having the thing that you see in the dream to know that you're dreaming.
Yep.
The top versus the moon. And then, like, the multi-layered dream.
Yep.
It's all very, like, that's basically the whole movie of Inception.
See, it also reminded me an awful lot of Future Imperfect, the Riker episode.
Well, yeah.
A little bit of that one there.
The
layered
boy,
illusion.
Yeah, like every
layer... that one. Yes. Sorry, yeah. I was thinking of the Madhouse one.
Oh, that's Frame of Mind, which is also illusions within illusions. You don't know which one is real. You keep waking up.
Or Ship in a Bottle.
Which one was that?
That's Moriarty.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
the fake Enterprise.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, science fiction has been obsessed with the idea about...
what is your reality?
Yeah, I mean, Philip K. Dick was obsessed with that. So, yeah, overall, I mean, I think I biffed the summary, but it was a good episode, by and large. It was fun.
Just the fact that I could say, like, this is an awful lot like these 5 other episodes. It's a little bit tread.
A little, but I think they put their own twist on it in its own way.
Janeway didn't even try to self-destruct the ship. She just walked into a warp core explosion.
That's it. She didn't try to keep it from exploding that hard, which is close. It's the inverse property.
There you go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that particular... I wish there were a different way that they figured out it was...
Well, see, that had to be it, though. I was sitting there when it was going on. Of course, at this point, as the audience, we now know what's going on. Yeah. They're a little unsure. And I was like, well, you can't die in a dream, so... And, yep.
Yeah, if I know it's a dream, and this is a thing, like, I think we've talked about, if we've had experiences lucid dreaming or not, and it's never worked for me. Like, anytime in a dream I realize I'm dreaming, one day I actually literally remember, like, notice in a dream, I know this isn't awake. I know I'm dreaming. Maybe I can fly. Nope. And then immediately forgot and just went down with the dream, and it's like, damn it.
I've definitely, like, the few times it's happened for me, I usually wake up very short. It's like, oh, fuck, I'm dreaming. Maybe now I can... Fuck.
See, I was hoping that they would do something. Like, here was my idea for how they could determine that they were in the dream. The EMH doesn't work properly. Right? Because the EMH obviously isn't in the dream. The real EMH isn't in the dream world.
Right.
Because he doesn't go to sleep. But, like, if they had to, like, go, talk to the EMH... Or, like, maybe the alien... Well, no, because I guess they're making the dream. I don't know.
They go talk to the EMH, and he's like, ooh, duh, I'm really arrogant and not good at talking to people.
Here's a perfect one. The EMH, they bring the EMH into the cargo bay where they're holding everybody.
And he's not wearing his mobile
emitter. And there's how you know.
There it is.
There's another, actually, of Layers of Reality. That time the EMH thought he was Zimmerman.
Yeah, that's another one. You're right.
That was the one thing when they were like, I've got to go down there. It's like, the doctor, who literally can't fall asleep, has the mobile emitter. Send him.
That's true. But they wanted to give Chakotay something to do.
They did. they did, which is fair.
Also, there's probably like a, I don't know, Hippocratic oath situation, maybe? Like if he had to do something violent to the people.
That's true.
Maybe.
And also, I mean, with the rest of the crew passed out, you don't want to risk sending him down and then
Send Da Vinci! Where's he at?
Yeah.
France?
France.
Well, that's true. Now that we know that we can, like, make holodeck characters, just
Seriously.
make them mobile with the mobile emitter, just make a pre-programmed drone of anybody to go
Burley!
do
Where's
dangerous
Lord
missions.
Burley at?
Man, next time you're in danger, fucking send down a holographic Mugatu to fuck people up.
Yeah.
What's
Wow.
Mugatu?
The big, like, unicorn
Pointer.
fucking
Up in the thing.
furry thing that
Up in the top.
nearly kills Kirk in that one episode,
Oh.
and the
He's like a Yeti.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
he's
that's
more like
what
a
I want.
rhinoceros than a unicorn.
Well, the other
but-
thing about the mobile emitter that wasn't clear is, like, how strong is
yeah,
the
that's true.
hologram? Like you could make a Mugatu, but would they actually be
Mugatu strong, yeah.
have the strength to fight somebody, or would they just be kind of weak?
Yeah. But as we did learn from the very first use of the mobile emitter, they can't feel pain. So as long as you don't hit the emitter, you can wail on the doctor for hours, and he's just going to be like, "What now, bitch?"
There's your
Shrug.
therapy right there!
Beat the fuck out of you.
He can also make himself pass throughable at
Yes,
will.
that's
so
true. That's true too. Incorporeal.
There you go.
These aliens mustn't kiss, right?
Why?
Because their chin
Oh, they had the funny
swoops
chin.
up and ends at a little spike.
Maybe they kind of interlock them.
Maybe that's why they're so mad.
Well, I don't know. They're so sweepy though. You know, it's like
Yes, I was like, so how does this species... do they all, like, wake up every 7 years and have an orgy?
Maybe.
Ew.
maybe they all just have wet dreams together, and
Maybe
some of it gets on you, and
maybe they bud. We don't, you know.
There you go.
yeah.
But there has to be occasionally someone to wake up and explain to the children what's going on and give them trousers,
No,
because they're all dressed.
The children are born. They just crawl out of their parents and then immediately fall asleep.
Will drop off their parent.
Yeah, if they bud. Budding is the way to go.
Yeah, you don't want to think too deeply about the culture, because it doesn't make a ton of sense. They're mostly there just to be this weird dream enemy.
Yeah, which, you know, an enemy who gets you in your dreams, weird.
Yeah. Well, actually, like Caitlin said, for all the Inception jokes, there's also a vague Freddy Krueger element.
There was also a great episode of, what the fuck was it called? Sabrina. What was the new one called?
The Teenage Witch.
Yeah, but the new one.
Oh,
There's
The
a
Chilling
new show.
Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. There's like a some kind of demigod thing that attacks them all in their dreams, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
fucking sick. Actually, it was a really good
That's
episode.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not a new, totally new thing.
No.
Yeah, I read that the writer of this episode, Andre Bormanis, who's usually the science consult, and I think this is his second script that he's penned, also has a habit of lucid dreaming.
Huh.
So he was able to use that.
Fair
He says,
enough.
you know what? You know what's kind of science that I can throw into an episode of sci-fi is this thing.
Yeah, I thought that the dreams were way too coherent to be dreams.
Yeah.
Nobody walked through a door and was suddenly in a different place.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I did really love the comment that I saw that Tim Russ, who is the biggest Trek nerd on the show, and I fucking adore him, he basically says, like, why would Tuvok be dreaming about being naked? That's not a shame thing for Vulcans, because that's not logical. We all have bodies. We wouldn't give a shit if anybody saw us naked. And he rationalized it by saying, but I'm out of uniform on the bridge, and that's a whole
The different, yeah.
break in uniform protocol. I would never do that, and therefore that's why I'm upset about it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No.
Also, the idea that Vulcans don't experience shame is ridiculous. They definitely do.
Well, yeah, but I could see them not feeling shame about bodies.
I
don't
couldn't.
know.
They're all kids at one point.
I don't know, man.
And they've only learned, they've had to learn how to not use their emotions, so I'm sure they've all been naked in front of someone accidentally and been like, ugh.
I feel like if they didn't feel shame about their bodies, they wouldn't be wearing clothes.
They live on a planet with a brutal sun. You've got to keep yourself covered or you're going to get skin cancer.
SPF, bro. SPF.
Wow. But also, since Tim Russ is also like one of the biggest jokesters on the show, he gets onto the bridge and he's in a robe because before you start the cameras he's in his robe, and he had someone whip up some kind of thing to go over his genital area. Memory Alpha doesn't say what it was, but it was like some kind of ridiculous appendage he strapped to himself. So he took the robe off, there was just something there, and the whole fucking bridge crew erupts into giggles because he's just so silly, and I love him.
I'm just picturing, did you guys watch Garfield and Friends?
Yeah.
Remember how Wade
Oh yeah,
had
he had
his
his
inner tube with his face on it? So I'm just picturing that, but it's just Tim Russ's head where his what's it should be.
Oh no!
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
his what's it?
Yeah.
Penis. We can say the word.
Yeah, I don't know why I censored myself. We never do.
We could even say cock.
Ooh.
Or
Of the walk.
Johnson.
Dong.
Prick.
Wang.
Wong.
Wrong.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, fucking Harry Kim generally was the only one not technically having a nightmare. Like, he eventually got freaked out because Crescent showed up.
But then he started making up with him. Making out
Well,
with
I said to Caitlin, like, they cut to him, and he's like, ah, and he calms down. It's like, well, clearly in the dream, he's like, fuck it, you can watch. So we just kept making jokes about, like, Harry, like, being out of cum.
What?
Yeah, like that's why he's actually
He's young,
cast up.
dumb, and out of cum.
You were saying, Chris was like, yeah, you know, he'll by the end of this episode, after all the coming, he looks like Chakotay did in that episode where he was like getting older. And I said, my God, Harry just shit out his balls. He said,
Oh Jesus! This is
I
the
was
direction
really
Sorry.
hoping though that they did an old switcheroo on us, and instead of Harry waking up from the dream, Seven woke
does.
up from the dream.
I joked that, actually, this was Tuvok's dream. God knows who was having the dream of him walking around naked.
Yikes.
do we have a Nurse Chapel figure in the...
So one thing, though, that didn't work
Uh-oh.
was during the opening dreams and, like, the Crescent guy's appearing in everyone's dream. But in Tom's, he, like, pops up from the bottom of the window, and it was like a bad Jaws moment.
It
was
was
just
pretty silly.
it was hysterical. It's like, oh, yeah, didn't stick the landing there.
But otherwise, I felt like they did pretty well in this episode.
Yeah, that was just hilarious, though. Like, I fucking loved it.
It was
That
very funny.
Funny as hell. Wasn't supposed to be, but appropriate dream for Tom, too. I feel like that's, if you're going to have a bad dream and you're a pilot, the bad dream is going to be a flight disaster.
Why does Tom keep bringing Torres skiing when she's already said Klingons don't like it cold? Damn it, Tom.
He's negging.
I had the
It's
same thought.
It's the holodeck, though. You could have
You totally could.
warm ski resort.
You could
Weird.
ski on mashed potatoes.
Like, that would be amazing, right? Like,
Yum.
you know?
That would be, yeah, you could, it's like, the snow can still exist, but it can be, like, 75 and breezy.
Yeah, why not?
Weird.
Right? But yeah, no, I thought the same thing. What was that delightful line? It's like, Cardassians, what was it? From the
Displaced episode.
yeah, where it was like Cardassians just complain about it faster
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Talk about cold. Because yeah, I had the same
I
thought.
thought it was Cardassians that didn't like it cold. She's like, I'm cold too.
They just complain more. But yeah, no, I had the same thought. It's like, why are you bringing her in a winter sport?
Maybe she likes winter sports and just doesn't like the cold.
That's fair. I mean, the thing is, if you're going for a winter sport, you're going to appropriately bundle up. Whereas she was not properly clothed in displacement there. Speaking of clothed, here's the overcoat
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see the Oracle with the cool little...
pocket thing.
Yeah, I like her pocket protector with all her pens.
It's a neat little thing. I kind of wish they had her keep it afterwards so it made more sense.
That's true. Why do they never do that kind of thing?
Is a pocket protector literally meant to stop you from getting ink on
Yeah.
your shirt?
Yeah,
If your pen leaks.
Yeah, it's a remnant from back when pens were more prone to leaking.
But it's also nice if you have, like, a bunch of pens or, like, screwdrivers and stuff. You can just take the whole pocket protector out at the end of the day and set it down, and then you put it in your next shirt the next day. It's very convenient.
Yeah.
I have one.
You don't accidentally put your pens in the washing machine that
That's
way.
right.
True.
I don't wear pocket shirts so often, but if I did...
But yeah, I think they're more a remnant from when everyone was carrying fountain pens. Because nowadays, if you're buying a fountain pen, it's going to be fancy because they're a niche product. But back in the day when all pens were fountain pens, there were shitty ones and they would
See, I
leak.
don't know, though, because pocket protector is like the universal code for nerd.
Yeah, well, I think... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd love to know how that happened, because...
Nerds carry pens with them. Okay.
They used to give
Well,
them
maybe
out...
just being able to write and read was enough to make you a nerd back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
They used to give them out at the one I have. I got from You Do It Electronics. I don't know if they still give those out. But I thought that was fun.
But yeah, this is the part of their attempt to hide her pregnancy.
So far, I wouldn't know. So
Well, I did notice in this
so
one.
far.
In this one, they mostly shoot her from like the shoulders up. But I definitely have memories of like episodes where they can't hide her for some reason, and you're just like, coat's not doing as well a job as it could.
And it's so funny because I remember when we talked in The Next Generation when Gates was pregnant.
Yeah,
I had no fucking clue.
none whatsoever. Yeah,
Not even like the episode where she was like full to bursting, and also the focus character in all those romantic scenes. I think it was the one where she was making out with that Trill guy, and she said it was really weird being in a romance scene while I was, full of baby.
I love when everyone, because we only saw a few of the dreams.
Yeah.
But evidently everybody's been having them.
Yeah.
I loved Neelix's that he was being boiled into some soup.
Oh, yeah.
But it was really well seasoned.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's good.
that's good.
I was hoping though, not hoping, but I was imagining like an alternate take where, so what was your dream, Neelix? Well, I dreamed I died and then got shot up with nanopods and now I'm a living corpse.
Oh wait.
Wah, wah, wah,
Yikes.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I did like that though.
Was the alien okay in Neelix's dream? Was the alien swimming around and also?
He was probably the cook.
Was he the cook?
Probably had a big comedy cook hat on, no less.
Now, is it a giant pot of stew and Neelix is regular Neelix size?
Or is he a tiny Neelix?
Or is he a tiny Neelix, or at least
Oh.
tiny relative to the cook? Like, is the cook like a giant, I am cooking you into my stew?
That's a good question. Is it that, or is it like when, Bugs Bunny is in a big pot next to someone who's like regular sized?
Interesting, yeah.
It's an
I'm
excellent
gonna
question.
go with the tiny Neelix
I like that one.
in a pot, in a normal pot.
In swim trunks patterned after like one of his awful suits.
Yeah. And you get to see the feet and the stuff on his chest and all that stuff.
Oh god, ugh, I forgot about
No,
all that.
thank you.
I know.
I don't want those feet in my soup.
that someone fucked up because we know that Harry Kim sleeps with a mask on because his roommate in the academy used to stay up late,
Yeah, that's true.
and Tom made fun of him for it once.
Forgot
Well,
about that.
And I said, "Table flip."
well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's a continuity error or what, but
He never actually woke up.
but we see him do the what out of bed
Oh yeah.
in the teaser.
Maybe that was him joining the fake.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
yeah,
So
that's
maybe
probably what
that's
that-
why
yeah.
he didn't have the mask, because we never. Well, no, but we do, because we go into his quarters and find him asleep.
Asleep, yeah. But is
and
that
he's not wearing a mask.
And
But
he's
wait,
not
is
wearing a
that
mask.
still the larger dream?
Oh,
that's
no.
before.
Oh,
no,
God.
That's
because-
before Chakotay
Yeah.
goes into the dream.
Yeah, because the larger dream only starts after Chakotay goes into does
Inception land.
yeah, a Kuchimoya thing.
But I wonder though, was the initial wake up even? Yeah, no, because they had to get to the planet. Never
They
mind.
had to get to the planet, and
Yeah,
they had
that
to,
was real. Getting to
Oh,
the planet
God.
was definitely real because then otherwise there wasn't a threat to the aliens.
And I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, so yeah, the first night everybody woke up except for Harry Kim and a couple of randos.
Yeah,
Then Chakotay goes to bed in sickbay.
right. And then everyone else.
Then everybody else goes to sleep, and then Chakotay wakes up for real, sets a course to the planet,
Yeah.
falls asleep on the way there,
Right.
dreams that everybody woke up, but it turns out that he's just in the collective dream with everybody else.
Right. Yeah. Oh god. Yes. Phew.
Yeah, don't go to sleep. When I wrote in my notes, like, this sounds familiar. Wasn't there like an Are You Afraid of the Dark or something where people couldn't sleep or they would die?
I mean, it's definitely Friday the 13th.
I
No,
don't
no,
know.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
What did I say? Oh yeah,
Friday
yeah.
the
Nightmare on Elm
13th.
Street.
I mean,
obviously.
definitely when you have
I haven't seen him either,
when
but I
you
know
have
that's
a
like-
concussion,
Yeah.
you shouldn't go to sleep.
Yep.
Yep. They're probably. It's been so long since I saw that show, but I'm willing
I'm
to bet
trying to
there was.
remember if there was. Because yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. This far out from having ever seen that show.
Oh,
Dozens of years ago.
Did
I only
love
remember the
that
clown
show,
one.
though.
there is
Yes,
definitely.
me too.
There's definitely a Simpsons Freddy Krueger parody episode
Oh,
where they're talking about they can't go to sleep or they'll die.
I might be
Might be
thinking
thinking
of
of
that. Yep.
Because that's, again, I've not seen those movies either, but I've seen that episode of The Simpsons.
So
And now I get the reference. I didn't know that.
I may have missed something in this episode. What were the aliens' motivations?
Super unclear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that, because at first it's like, oh, they made everybody go to sleep so they could take over the ship or something. But no, they're just sleeping in a cave. And if Chakotay wasn't awake, everybody would have just died.
Maybe there's some kind of space vampire that needs to feed on them.
Well, see, that would have been more interesting. See, I think it would have been way more interesting an episode if they weren't just a bunch of people asleep in a cave and that they were like some kind of energy monster or something. You know, that like the virus that Tuvok had that made him think that he was murdering a little girl.
Yep.
You know, if it was something like that kind of creature that just invaded your brain.
Well, especially too, like the way they started talking about them at first in the episode, it made it sound like they didn't have a corporeal form.
Yeah.
But then, oh no, they do.
What
it's a little weird.
Remind me of the deal in Frame of Mind when Riker kept dreaming of those assholes. Why? Remind me what the fuck the reason was.
Oh God.
Boxes within boxes.
I don't know if we ever. What?
There was some alien.
I think
they were jerks. They
like,
had kidnapped Riker? Was that what happened?
Was that the one where... Oh God, I don't know
anymore. It wasn't
anymore.
Schism.
Yeah, see, now I'm thinking of Schism.
Yeah.
It's like I'm mixing them up now.
Now I'm thinking, and I'm stuck on the one where he almost fucks Fraser's wife. That's a different one.
Oh, wow.
That was like the warp planet one though.
Yeah,
First Contact.
Oh, that fucking alien wife. That's a different one. Yeah, I'm thinking. See, now I'm thinking a matter of perspective.
Yeah, like I know the one you're talking about, but I cannot remember. Every time I try to think of the details, I end up on a different episode.
Funny. Is Jake looking it up?
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna tell you.
Thank you.
While Jake is doing that, the deer was very cute.
Oh yeah, the deer.
I liked seeing a deer.
He seemed like he had very munchkin-y legs.
It was a little deer, yeah.
He was probably
Like
adolescent or something.
Little pygmy deer of some kind.
He's really cute.
I liked him.
I was like, don't hurt him,
Her?
Chakotay, you jerk.
Well, and he even said, and he in real
hated
life
hunting.
doesn't hunt. Yeah.
Oh, we did take issue with the spear.
That was a little like, oh guys, really?
He was in a dream.
I know, but you give the Native American guy a spear, like, come on.
Would you prefer a bow and arrow?
No, but maybe a...
Well, I understand that AR-15s are great for hunting.
I mean, if it was an actual, like, just modern hunter's bow, maybe it would have been, a little less... Or like a crossbow. People crossbow hunt for some reason. I mean, I don't understand why people hunt full stop if it's not for food, so... I'm the wrong person to ask.
Even if it is for food.
Yeah, we do have cows. Have you heard of these animals? There's plenty of them. Have you found it yet, Jake?
Yeah, he just got kidnapped by some aliens.
Oh, okay.
In fact, if we don't eat them, we don't know what the fuck to do with them because they would never survive in the real world anymore.
Thanks to us.
Yep. But
We also need them for their manure. So, goddamn.
But also their farts are killing us.
We're destroying this planet.
We are.
Oh, no.
Well, we're destroying the ecosystem.
Let's start new on a new planet.
We're destroying ourselves. The planet will be just fine.
Tuvok's jammies looked very silly, and I preferred the earlier scenes when he was sleeping naked.
I thought the
He has nice shoulders.
Damn.
Well, see, that's the thing. At the very end, right when he comes in and
Not
everyone's
enough
hanging out in the mess hall, I was like, "Huh, is Neelix a secret Romulan?" Because I mean, is Tuvok a secret Romulan? Because
the shoulders.
Those
on
are
his
some serious.
shirt.
That's a Romulan pair of jammies if I ever saw them.
Oh, no.
It was the same culture once.
That's true. Maybe that's like one thing that
One of the
Vulcans
remnants.
held on to. Was
But it's just in their pajamas, not in their daily wear.
right.
It's illogical to have such humongous shoulder pads in the real day-to-day. You
Um,
bump into shit.
yeah.
It's unwieldy.
Yeah. The last thing in my notes that I noticed on Memory Alpha is that they said that the cavern that has all the sleeping aliens sleeping very efficiently across all the floors was made with just 3 actors that they composted together.
Composted.
Composite.
Right into the machine with you. I don't want to die. It's for television.
Yowza.
Yeah, it was, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It was entertaining enough,
Yeah, kind of just a
It was
very
there.
normal episode.
Yeah, fun little filler kind of thing.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. That's what it was. It was fun. Don't think too hard about it.
Wow.
Or else.
You know what I want to think about? Since we talked about Romulan shirts,
There you go.
Romulan ships.
Oh, good, because I noticed this one would make more sense next week, but we're doing it this week, so fuck it. We've been talking about ships an awful lot. Last week was Klingon ships. This week we're going to look at a whole bunch of different Romulan ships. So you can check these out. They're all on our Tumblr.
It's all blank pages because they're all cloaked.
Well,
Excellent.
The bird of prey.
Yes, we're going to start with the first bird of prey. We see this in the original series. It's got a big fucking orange bird painted on the bottom of it that looks more like a turkey.
It is kind of turkey-ish, yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like a hawk.
He's kind of like a vulture face or something.
Eagle-y.
I mean, we don't know what Romulan birds look like.
That's true.
Mm.
Why don't we see any Romulan birds?
I don't know. He does spend a lot of time
They
on
got
Romulus.
big,
And now, of course, they're all
shoulder
dead.
pads.
Mm.
Aww. No one saved the burbs.
But yeah, it's a, it's funny, of course, because you look at it and it does look, in a way, it almost looks like what if TOS did the Defiant?
Yeah.
Because it's, and I get it, they hadn't worked out a lot of the design language yet, but it does look a lot like a Federation ship.
Yeah, because it's got the nacelles.
And like an almost saucer effect
Mhm.
and stuff.
That's true. This could very easily just fit in with any Federation ship.
Yeah, it could also be like a TOS era Miranda class, maybe.
Yeah. But still, classic design, and because we know it as a Romulan ship, it is immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the fin on the back, very, serves no purpose but to look cool.
Yeah, and the fin even has a little, like, the painted
Yeah.
tail of the bird
Yeah.
on it. Just to make sure the bird got bird continuity going.
Yeah, it's classic.
Right.
Hey, you skipped the Romulan D5 or whatever.
Oh, the one that's actually just a Klingon ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but we're
do,
gonna...
do you know the story of why they had to do that?
I know we talked about it. I don't remember a fucking thing.
Basically, they stiffed the guy that made the Romulan model, so he took it home.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have it anymore. Way to not pay him, Paramount.
Jerks.
But yes, then they're back with the Deridex class?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think we ever hear this out loud. In
We
the
do
show.
not, I think.
But we see this big. It's got like a big hollow area,
Yep.
and it's like what would be wings, but are now just a big tube.
Yeah.
And now this one looks like a bird.
True.
It's even got the wing.
It's got a
like
beak.
It's got like feathers patterns on the wings.
It's like two birds on top of each other with a space in between,
What's interesting, though, is like...
with one head.
Inside you, there are two birds.
From overhead,
Aw.
it kind of has like the neck and the bulbous top thing that is reminiscent of a Klingon ship.
Yeah, from the top, it definitely looks very Klingon.
So it's like even though they eventually started making their own ships, they took some notes from the Klingons and kept them.
Well, it's because they decided that both Klingons and Romulans like birds of prey.
Yeah.
And they both have bird symbolism going on.
For some reason, yeah.
And it's like, okay, our two main antagonistic races, we're going to just keep making them look like birds.
It also made, I wonder if somebody was confused, or I wonder if this was maybe originally kind of designed to be a Klingon ship because it looks very Klingon and it's green.
Yeah.
And then they're like, huh.
Hey, remember that Klingon design we didn't use? Let's use it for the Romulans. I could see that.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. It's huge.
It is huge.
Look at the windows on it.
Well, look at it
Tiny.
next to the Enterprise over here.
Yeah, I mean that could be perspective, but just looking at the size of the windows, it's just.
Oh, yeah,
it's
okay.
Fucking.
Although on the one
absurdly
hand,
huge.
it's huge, but also there's a lot of just empty space as well.
Yeah, what is
True.
the point? What do we think the point of the empty space is? Why not make use of it?
That is a damn good
Makes
question.
it more aerodynamic.
Maybe.
Which doesn't matter in
maybe,
space,
they can,
probably.
Maybe they can generate a a force field inside it, and then they can
Maybe it's
capture another ship.
It's got something to do with their idiotic black hole power source.
There you go.
The dumbest power source in space.
So bad, guys.
Morons.
Just very silly. It's a good ship, though. I like
It is.
it. This would be Nemesis.
Again, this is
we
the
see the Valdor.
Romulans took the Klingon bird of prey and made it their own.
Yep, it's more birdie.
Fixed wing.
Also quite large.
Yeah, they do like their ships oversized.
Like they're ladies.
But yeah, features. It does feel like a scaled back Derek or whatever class.
Yeah, well, yeah. The hollow bit is now very
Yeah,
slim.
still a hollow bit. What is
They like
that?
they like their hollow bits. They like their
so much.
and like the Klingons. They also like long fucking necks to nowhere.
Yeah. Well, and the Starfleet likes long necks for some
Everybody
reason.
likes long necks.
Such a bad idea.
It's quite silly. I don't know if it's that you feel powerful walking down the neck to get to the bridge. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I feel like from the top it kind of vaguely is reminiscent even of the bird symbol of the Empire, if I'm remembering it right.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's a sleeker bird. It's
Yeah.
more like a heron than whatever whatever we could say previous birds look like. They're not like it's not like bird of prey. These are more like a heron.
Yeah, I like that comparison. Oh, this fucking thing.
Oh, I love this thing. So also in Nemesis, we see the Reman ship, and since they're just a branch of Romulans, I'm counting it, the Scimitar. And I think this ship is really cool. It's also got 2 modes, because it, opens itself up into a whole bunch of, spider legs.
I just realized, because I don't really see it from directly overhead until right now, and this has to have been on purpose because of all the fucking Nosferatu imagery.
It looks like a bat.
It looks like a bat.
It does look like a bat.
Yeah.
It looks like a bat, but then its wings open up into a spider.
Yes.
Which is also very Nosferatu.
I was thinking it looks like a hermit crab.
Or that.
And it's opened up.
Yeah, I can kind of, yeah.
With those little legs sticking out.
Yeah. No, the problem is, and now that I see it, it looks like the fucking bat wing.
Looks like it wants to spit some goo at Dennis Nedry.
Or that.
Aww.
It definitely wants to do that.
Yeah, I do think it's a very nice moment in a very shitty movie when you see it open up and it's very threatening and all this thing.
Yeah.
I was flying one of these around in timelines and getting very angry because when you're just flying it around in timelines, it's closed and I'm like, wee! It's only opened up when you're in a battle.
Which makes sense because that's
I want to see it all
Lock
fucked up.
S-foils and attack positions.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that's Bremen, but I'm sure the Romulans were the ones initially designing it because it was already built. But of course the Romulans make a ship that has an elaborate opening to kill people sequence. They're very much... That's the thing, I feel like the Klingons are just like, we're here to kill you. The Romulans are like, we're here to frighten you and kill you. Which is why everything's big or opening or weird.
And if we fail at frightening you, we're going to skip the kill you part. Alright, we're going to go back in time now and see an early iteration of the bird of prey that we saw in Enterprise, or that, we will see in Enterprise because we haven't covered this yet. And it's way more, swoopy.
Yeah, it's smaller, curvier, and greener.
They love green. They love their green. All these alien ships, green, green, green.
Yeah.
Well, it is the color of Little Martians.
It's fine.
I wonder if they're painted green or...
It's the metal.
Or if it's the metal.
In
Because,
the light.
They're made of
the
copper.
Vulcan ships were made of... were like a reddish color, and Vulcan, the planet, is like a reddish color, so maybe they just have a lot of red ore.
Mm.
So their ships, maybe Klingon and Romulan ore is greenish.
Maybe.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, it works.
It looks like a boomerang.
A little bit.
It looks like if you throw this thing, it's going to come back and clock you in the face.
I feel like it looks like a little airplane, like a paper airplane.
Yeah,
I feel like you could easily fold this up and just chuck it. And it would fly well.
Yeah, I like how streamlined it is. It definitely feels... It's cute.
Yeah.
It's like a cute little toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like, I want to go into the bath with one and play. Alright, we're going to jump to Picard, because I think mostly we see other Romulan ships we've already covered, or ones that I don't think we see enough to be able to cover.
Yeah, well, there's that, one guy who, repurposed a bunch of TOS-era birds of prey. Seven fights one at one point. It's straight up just a TOS-style bird of prey, but a little shinier.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's in, a single scene.
Yeah, but the one we're looking at now is the one we see in season 1 of Picard that O brings in a fucking giant swarm.
Oh no!
And it looks very the Deradex.
Yeah, but without stupid empty.
Yeah, but without the
reason.
chasm. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I wonder if this is just the next generation of the warbird design.
Oh yeah, and they just realized
No,
that
it's Picard, not Next Generation.
Ah.
Sorry.
But yeah, no,
because the Durex was also called the Romulan warbird.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
no,
this is called it as well. So.
Yeah, it's an improvement in that, again, there isn't pointless waste of space, but they probably got less material now that their home planet's been blown up, so they have to be a bit more restrained.
Yeah, I like that the kind of the face of it, I'm going to say, it looks like the Deradex face.
It's
and bridge section.
You can see how this grew out of that, and maybe the old bird of prey a little, and that big thing, not the scimitar, the one before that from
Baldor.
Yes, from
Donatra's ship.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
So it has a clear through line, certainly, which is always good to see.
Well, the through line is usually pick a bird, any bird. The next one's going to be the hummingbird.
Bird it up.
Caw!
It's a
Oh,
flamingo.
dear.
Oh boy.
No, that's
I forget why I chose to do this in this order, because I should have probably done this earlier. But anyway, let's look at the Narada now from
Star
Kelvin,
Trek
2009.
one of the Kelvin movies.
Yeah, what an ugly thing.
Yeah, it's huge. It looks like someone just took a bunch of stuff in a bale of hay and then wadded it together.
Well, it's
This
supposed to
isn't-
be a mining ship.
Yeah, no, this isn't a Romulan ship. This isn't a mining ship. This is somebody said, what car would Cthulhu drive?
Yeah.
And this is what they came up with.
All right. It's just like, yeah, there's no practical aspects of this ship.
It's
None
over
whatsoever.
designed like fuck.
Well,
If you're a
it would scare
mining-
the shit out of you if you saw that thing
But it's
floating in space.
right,
though.
but it's a mining ship, not a warship. It
Yeah,
should be
well.
a big fucking box.
The Romulans don't know how to only do a mining ship. You know, they gotta.
Even
it's,
for the-
it's the shoulder pad of
This-
their ship.
Even for the Romulans, this is a bit much.
This is the ship from the remake of Event Horizon.
Yeah,
You know? It's a horror ship.
it's 1,000 can openers stuck together.
Basically, yeah.
It's-
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm sure there's no like design that like whoever built this thing in world would have a design saying this is what the function of each thing is, because there's no function.
They even make fun of it in the movie for being
Do they
a bad
really?
design. Yeah, because there's a moment where Scotty's like, if there's any logic to the internal design of this thing, I should be popping it out into the engine room or something.
Oy.
And then they're on the bridge.
Oy,
Well,
oy.
the big open space full of unconnected platforms that seems to serve as the bridge?
Where is the bridge on this thing?
Who the fuck knows?
Somewhere.
Who even cares?
Not I.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible ship.
What kind of bird is
But
it
as
supposed
we
to
have
be?
discussed, none of the designs in the Kelvin timeline are actually based around sense.
Jake liked the Franklin.
I did like the Franklin. I think
None
it's
of the
trash.
designs in the Abrams-directed Kelvin movies
But
were
wasn't-
about sense.
But wasn't this one from Beyond? No, this one was from 2009.
The first
Yeah,
one,
yeah, this is
yeah.
from the
Okay.
first of the Kelvin films.
Oy.
So yeah, Abrams' awful little fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh,
Maybe
look
this
though,
lends
look,
itself
Jake,
to lens flare really well.
in concept art, they did have the Enterprise with orange Bussard collectors.
Oh my god.
So they even had it right at first and changed it just to spite you.
Those bastards.
And me to an extent.
How dare they?
All right. and
Oh yeah, there it is.
Finally, the last thing we're going to look at is the newest thing on the block, the slightly updated bird of prey that we would recognize mostly from TOS, but they give it a little bit of a facelift for Strange New Worlds.
I gotta
And you
say,
said Picard.
And it might be in Picard. I couldn't find where, like, somewhere on Memory Alpha it was referenced in Picard. I don't know where, and I didn't have time to look it up.
So this is supposed to be literally the same ship that we see in Balance of Terror.
Yes, but
It's
now
just-
it's got
it's just
green
the-
lights.
Yeah, it's the updated version, which I have no problem with. The thing that annoys me the most about it,
Uh-oh.
green fucking Bussard collectors. Come on, people. Come on.
What would you want them to be?
Red like they were,
Like
in,
they
the
were in the
original.
original? That
Maybe
makes
they just
sense.
thought that would look too
Well,
much like the Starfleet one.
They said Romulan is green,
I
and
guess
therefore
so.
make them green. They should have probably been green from the get go. To be honest.
Well, they hadn't figured that out.
Yeah, Romulans weren't green yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I'll say I think
The new bird paint job is good.
it is.
yeah, bird looks good.
I think, like with their update of the Enterprise, the original Enterprise, it's like, yeah, this is how you do it. Just a little bit of modernization.
They took off the little painted bird tail on the fin though.
Yeah.
It's like it's just
Oh yeah, it doesn't seem to have a paint on it.
But no, she looks good.
I do like it.
They updated her without ruining her.
We never
Exactly.
see that crazy weapon again, do we?
No, we don't.
Just that one time.
Oh yeah, just in Balance of Terror
They-
/ Quality of Mercy.
I think they probably just realized it was just too much power consumption. And once they realized you can kind of run away from it, that it has like a range limit, it's like,
You have to decloak to use it. What's the point?
they always have to decloak
Yeah,
too.
except
Except
for
in 6.
Kang's ship.
Yeah.
Chang.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea is like I think the in-universe explanation is just generally like a cloak uses so much energy that you can't, it's like how in that shitty old theater you couldn't have a light board and an air conditioner on at the same time.
All right,
Great.
and that's what the Romulan ships that we've been looking at today are going to be. We're going to look at more alien ships next week. It'll just be a compilation of whichever ones they put together in time. So definitely look forward to us talking about more alien ships then. Woo! Look also forward to us. Oh my god, actually, holy shit, next week is a special week. So we won't be talking about Romulan ships next, or other alien ships next week. That's 2 weeks from now.
Oh my god, is it finally time for the 10 forward of Third Rock from the Sun?
That's what we're doing.
Woo!
Now next week is our 6th anniversary. Holy
Jesus.
shit, it's been a while.
Mm.
And we're going to celebrate with you guys. We teased this a little while back when we picked names out of a hat, and Rossi helped somehow.
He was the hat.
He was the hat. We picked names out of Rossi, and we're going to be doing our fanfic day next week.
Hooray.
So that's going to be a really good week. My story's already shaping up to be pretty good, so hopefully I nail the Chakotay scenes. Although I can draw from these episodes, had some good Chakotay stuff.
True.
I'm still 3 to 4 days away from starting mine.
Yeah, but we did get... we got 2 Akuchi Moyas in 2 episodes this week.
We're 2 for 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. It's been a while.
Yeah, so next week, definitely join us for that. Definitely also be checking out all of our posts over on the Tumblr, where we're talking about tons and tons of ships. It's been a lot of ships lately. What else are we doing? We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, you know that.
Yeah.
I don't even have to tell you.
Yeah,
Fuck
no.
it. And we're on all the podcast places. You're listening to us right now.
Yep.
So until next week, this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This is Jake.
And this is always Chris.
I like that you didn't do a clean break so we could edit that out. You just,
Yep, no, it's
rolled right into
staying
it.
in.
Yawn,
What a
I had a
monster.
yawn, man. What can you do? Here, I'll give you one. This is Jake. There you go.